at night scrolling through mentions of their name and just seeing like, oh my gosh, no one likes me, and really kind of wanting to change that tone about them. So being more hands-on, hiring the guy that they think versus letting someone else tell them, or maybe they just have somebody in their ear to help them make some of these decisions better. Maybe they're actually listening to the people. Didn't seem like the Browns did that last year. Maybe they're going to go a different direction this year. But yeah, completely surprised Gettleman, of all these guys, kind of gets a free pass when the Giants have done nothing the last few years.
Well, as we wrap up the show, I just had kind of a question come over me, and just kind of speculative as we look at the Browns, the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys. I know 3 of them are from one division, but the Browns certainly are a high enough profile situation, being how badly they underperformed based on, well, some idiots out there thought they were going to the Super Bowl, but even I thought they were going to be 9-7, or at least, running second in that division. So they vastly underperformed. Justin, out of those 4 teams, the Browns and then the 3 in the NFC East, which coaching change do you think has the most immediate impact on this coming football season starting next fall?
Well, I'd have to point to Dallas in just because I feel like that division is going to be up in the air, because I don't see that the Giants are going to be that good next year. Washington has the potential to have a really good defense, but they're going to be playing a lot of young pieces on the offense, or a lot of new pieces, where depending on what Dallas does with the quarterback position, if they're going to sign Dak long-term, if they're going to franchise him 1 year, let the new coach kind of make the decision on him. I just think that team has enough talent on it where it should be in the mix to win that division. With the way that we've seen the Ravens play, I don't necessarily know that the Browns are in that position yet.
Yeah.
And the way that Baker Mayfield fell off in year 2, that also is a very scary thing if you're a Browns fan, because typically you see quarterbacks in year 2 make a pretty big leap if they're going to be good in this league. You think about Russell Wilson, even what Carson Wentz did from year 1 to year 2. Guys typically make that kind of jump. Baker seemed to go backwards in kind of a big way. A lot of interceptions. He had a lot of inaccuracies. That would be frightening to me as a Browns fan, that you're going to bring a coach in and you're going to have to kind of rework Baker. You got the whole Odell aspect there. Do they keep that guy around? Do they try to just get rid of him, change the whole culture of the team and the organization? I think they have too many questions, and I just think they're in a division where if the Steelers get Ben back, make some more moves, Browns are going to get Burrow. That could be a tough division for them to compete in, where I think Dallas has a chance right off the bat to be very competitive and win the NFC East with the roster they have.
Yeah, I think I would have to. I'd have to agree with you. I think Pittsburgh's going to be better next year if Big Ben comes back and he's healthy.
I think if you play quarterback for the Steelers next year, they could possibly be better, as bad as their quarterback play was down the stretch.
Well, I'm getting as hefty as Big Ben. I'm just not as tall. But, look, I mean, Big Ben, if he comes back, I think you'd have to feel like there's going to be more production out of Juju Smith-Schuster with Big Ben behind center. And like you said, the Ravens, they just have come so much further than we thought. And then the Bengals should secure, a quarterback with the number 1 pick. So I think, I'm not saying they're going to win the division or anything, but they shouldn't be 1-15 next year. So I just think, yeah, you're right. The Browns are still going to be a tough sell. I think this year was a missed opportunity, at least to make a wild card spot in the playoffs for the AFC. They certainly weren't going to win the division with what Baltimore did. But yeah, I think the highest impact could be Dallas with, maybe they keep Dak, maybe they get him at a reduced price. I don't know, but certainly the talent on that team is above where the Giants and the Redskins are, at least currently. We don't know what'll change. Redskins, as you said, before, they're going to have a second pick. So, there should be some power there. And Rivera, who knows what moves he makes. So I think it's very intriguing, some of these coaching decisions. And I think there's, if you're an Eagles fan like I am, I think there's a lot of risk there, because it's not going to be as easy of a division. Not that it was easy for the Eagles this year, but, even the past couple of years, it's not going to be as easy as it has been, because I think some of these other teams will just have to get better as they're better coached. And so it's going to be very, very interesting. So Justin, anything, you see as we head into this weekend, is there anything intriguing or anything else left on the schedule that we're missing before we roll this show out?
I don't believe so. I mean, your boy Antonio Brown has been, he's been all over social media. I'm surprised you didn't talk about him and the the workout he had with the Saints. And Eric, I got to start to believe this guy's becoming the sort of a Kaepernick, where I'm not even sure if he wants to play in the league anymore. I mean, the Saints reportedly say, don't bring an entourage. Don't make this a huge public display. And what does Antonio Brown do? He brings an entourage, and then he comes out and calls it a publicity stunt. Right. Who is it a publicity stunt for? You or the Saints? Who are you even talking about there?
I 100% agree with you, because it's like this guy wants to play the victim. He wants to go on. He's a big social media guy, Instagram, Twitter. I follow him just because it's entertaining. Half the stuff he says doesn't make any sense, and the other half of it is just outright stupid. And so it's entertaining. But at the same time, it's also sad because he plays the victim all the time and, God's got your back and, just keep fighting the battle. And, when people get you down, just keep going. And it's like, you've made this bed for yourself. Now you got to lie in it, because he's not the victim of some sort of plot against him. I mean, he has done so much of this stuff himself. And so I don't buy this whole victim act. It's ridiculous. And like you said, Saints, they worked out him and 5 other wide receivers, by the way, that day. It wasn't just the Antonio Brown show. So he wants it to be the Antonio Brown show. He shows up with a posse, but he was the same as every other unemployed wide receiver going into camp that day to show off your skills. And the Saints hired somebody else for their practice squad. And is the guy as good as Antonio Brown? Probably not. But at the same time, he's probably not going to bring the level of pain and distraction that Antonio brings. So publicity stunt for the Saints or not, I don't think so. I think they probably gave him a look and said, yep, here we go. It's the same Antonio. We're not dealing with this crap. So, look, I mean, the guy he digs his own grave, and I'm entertained and also equally tired about it. And again, I'm still incredibly disappointed with the higher education system at Central Michigan University, with the fact that this guy is somehow enrolled there when he can't put, a proper sentence together with any kind of grammar, punctuation, or capitalization in the right spot. So it's a mess with this guy. But hey, if you like good Twitter follows and you want to just be entertained with a guy that apparently has CTE, give him a follow. But I don't see anything else on the horizon either. I mean, obviously we get through the winter here. We're now through the holidays and in the new year. Certainly we're going to have the XFL is going to be a big topic on the show. We don't know what's going to happen with that, but the season kicks off in mid-February along with the Daytona 500 to kick off this year's NASCAR season. And the NBA All-Star Game is coming up in the middle of February too. So as we get through January and the beginning of February, it's the winter months, but there's still a lot going on. The NFL playoffs are now in full effect, and we'll have that all the way through the Super Bowl. And then there's plenty of other things to carry us forward, even up into and including as we start to look at the NFL draft. So lots to talk about right here on Talk Back. We do appreciate you listening, and we do hope you had a good holiday season and a happy new year. Thanks for listening. We'll talk back at you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of Talk Back. Staying current on sports is our #1 goal, so we drop a new episode each Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or the podcatcher of your choice. For more info about the show, to meet the hosts, or to partner with us on future episodes, please visit TalkBackFanTalk.com. We really enjoy hearing your take on the world of sports, even when you disagree. After all, this show is dedicated to you, the fans. So get direct access to us on Twitter using @TalkBackJustin and @TalkBackEric. Check out our corporate feed on Twitter and Instagram using the handle @TalkBackFanTalk. We hope you have a great week. We'll talk back at you next time.